Hello, my name is Jessie Key, senior at Syracuse University. Today I will be interviewing Matthew Avery, a resident of Ithaca, New York. Hello, Matthew. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing well myself, thank you. Now, it is my understanding that you have been a resident for quite some time. How long have you lived in Ithaca?
About all my life, and that would be 22 years.
Oh, wow. And do you live in the town or the city of Ithaca?
Yes and no. I technically live in Danby, but the mail shows up as Ithaca, so
So
you
would
tell
that
me.
be probably the town of Ithaca then?
Yeah.
So, within the past year or so, there has been an increasingly pressing issue that has even gained national attention. The number of heroin-related overdoses and deaths have skyrocketed in Ithaca. Some headlines have even referred to this issue as a heroin epidemic. In response, Mayor Svante Myrick proposes a plan to implement a supervised heroin facility right in the city of Ithaca. The facility, which would also potentially act as a detox center, would follow the footsteps of the only other injection facility site in North America, which is in Vancouver, British Columbia. Are you familiar at all with the issue or with the mayor's plan?
I'm familiar a bit with the issue and the plan, but not extensively.
So, with what you know already about the plan, do you support or not support the plan?
I mean, at first glance, one would obviously object to it, but when you get the information, I think it's actually kind of a smart idea.
And so do you think that the plan will make the city safer, and why or why not?
I do, because that takes a lot of sketchy activity off the streets and into a centralized location.
And do you believe that there needs to be any revisions made to the proposed plan so far?
That's hard to say because I only know what I've read in the newspaper, so I know what it would set out to do, but because it's not actually in effect, it's hard to revise something that isn't even like real yet, you know what I mean?
Right. So I know like you aren't maybe entirely familiar with all aspects of the plan, but if you were mayor of Ithaca, what would you do to try to tackle the rising issue of heroin in the city?
Oh God, that's a hard thing to ask. I mean, I don't know, because the usual response would be crack down on like drug dealers and stuff, but since that hasn't worked in the past, I don't know, 30 years, it's hard to really know what to do. So I think it's kind of brave for him to do something that's against what we would normally do, and an attempt to do something, like to try something that is different from what hasn't been working. You know what I mean?
Right. So then that kind of leads to the another question. So Mayor Myrick believes that law enforcement should help by putting users in treatment rather than jails. Do you agree with this? And what role do you believe that local law enforcement should play in the heroin epidemic to ensure the city's safety?
I think that that's hard. I think that rehabilitation is more important than punishment, and that law enforcement should first help people to become rehabilitated as opposed to being a force of oppression. You know what I mean? It's very,
Yes.
That's a big question. I hope, does that answer it, or?
Yeah, so are you saying that people, so like drug offenders who are caught with the drug, do you think that since if, for example, if they're a first-time drug offender, do you believe that they should go to rehab first, and then if they keep messing up, then incarcerate them?
I was actually thinking that exactly.
Okay. And what do you think should happen to drug offenders, whether it be users with a possession or large-scale heroin dealers? What do you think should happen to them on the legal scale?
I think they should be treated differently, because those are the people who are bringing...
Which ones? The dealers or the users?
Dealers, because those are the people who are introducing the problem, and clearly they have a connection to an even bigger source, which is the problem, but obviously, something that big is very hard to pin down. But I think drug dealers are where the issue resides, because without drug users, drug dealers have no need. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think I know. I think I get
I
what
know
you're saying.
cryptic
You're fine.
sort of answers.
Do you think dealers should be charged with murder if their buyers overdose and die from heroin?
I was thinking about that, and that's like saying a murderer who uses a gun that actually belonged to their father, the father should also be tried for murder. You know, but it's
Right.
like the dad didn't tell the person to use their gun to kill someone, so
Mhm.
why would it be the same for a drug dealer? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they didn't tell them to use X amount of the heroin. They just gave it to them, and it's their responsibility. You know
So
what I
are
mean?
you leaning more towards they shouldn't be charged with murder?
No.
Or
I mean, I would think maybe accessory, but even that would open the case for, well, then why not with all, like, murder,
Right.
even with a weapon, you know? That's a very tough issue.
So right now the plan proposal is still in its early stages. If implemented, would you be against the use of residents' taxpayer dollars going towards funding the facility and the people who would be working there?
Honestly, no, because it's a part of the city that would be helping to make the city a better place. So why wouldn't we want to fund something like that? You know what I mean?
Right. Do you have any other ideas or how else this plan should be paid for?
I mean, I think we should look for, like, government grants through, like, anti-drug, I don't know, organizations or something, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's kind of
So, like-
ridiculous, but, like, the FBI or something, you know, if we wanted to get someone involved, like, CDC, do they do stuff like that? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but are you saying so
Or
on
FDA. No.
like a federal funding kind of
Kinda,
deal,
yeah,
like through a
'cause, like,
federal program?
I think this should be something that the federal government should look at and kind of use as an experiment to whether or not it would work in other cities, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
it's kind of a smart thing to try one thing out, and if it works, implement it. If it doesn't, then kill it, you know?
Yeah. So it's okay. So some people have argued that more people will start to use heroin once the supervised injection facility is in place. Do you think that that will be the case in Ithaca?
I mean, no, not really. Because, like, I feel like people would still be scared to even use it because they know that they will be known for being a user, and they don't know whether or not that'll be used against them or if they'll have a record on them once they enter the facility. Honestly, no. I don't really see a change in that number, but as far as the number of people who are using on the streets, they'll see an influx of people using the center, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people have said that that is a concern. So what are some of your own personal concerns concerning the proposal?
Just the fact that it won't work. You know, people will go in, use, and then not accept the offer of rehabilitation. You know, like, that's the worst case scenario, I think. I mean, that's the worst I can think of.
And if the proposal does pass, where do you think that this facility should be located geographically?
Honestly, probably centrally downtown, you know, somewhere that's easy enough for anyone with or without a car or with public transportation or a bike or anywhere to get to. And especially in places where it's, you know, hardest hit as far as where people are shooting up.
So you believe that it should be located centrally in the city of
Oh yeah.
Ithaca?
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely don't make it up near the hospital where it's like
Right.
you can't really get there but like by
Yeah.
one bus.
So, well, Matt, we are almost out of time here. I want to thank you for your time and opinions today about the supervised injection facility plans in Ithaca. Before I let you go, are there any, if you could tell the mayor anything concerning his proposed plans, what would you say?
Good luck and good for you, honestly. We have a very progressive mayor and I'm very happy that we do.
Thank you.